Please stand in honor of our local area veterans. Please be seated. Although our principal, Mrs. Hopkins, will provide a more formal welcome, on behalf of the Army Junior ROTC program, my name is Cadet Master Sergeant Emily Shelton, and it is my pleasure to welcome you, veterans and guests, administrators, teachers, staff, and students. We would like to thank all those involved in making this assembly a success. Mr. Turiziani and maintenance for the setup, Ms. Pagan for setting up the food for our veterans prior to the ceremony, Mr. Bach and Mr. Trout for getting the sound and video operational, Mr. Pappas for the programs, and Ms. Hall for the PowerPoint presentation. This Friday, November 11th, is Veterans Day. It is a day set aside to honor the sacrifices that our veterans and their families have made. This assembly is in honor of our veterans, but this is also a reminder to us students that we are all to remember and never forget the sacrifices of our veterans and their families. Now, please stand to your feet as we honor the American flag. The color guard is commanded by Cadet Master Sergeant Alyssa Hall. After the colors are posted, remain standing while Cadet First Sergeant Daniel Malloy leads us in the presentation, the Pledge of Allegiance to the American flag.
Now at this time, will everyone please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. It is my pleasure to introduce the Lorain High School principal, Mrs. Hopkins.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. First of all, as the principal of Lorain High School, I would like to officially welcome you on behalf of the rest of our administration as well as the Lorain City Schools. So we want to welcome you here and thank you for coming. Just to share a little bit, I live with a veteran. I live with a disabled veteran. And I am honored, I feel it's an honor and a privilege to have the experiences that I have with my husband. He is so happy. He is started in the Marine Corps and then transitioned to the Navy and loves every second of the time that he spent. But as you all well know, there are also the other parts of being a veteran. And so I appreciate everything that you have done for us, the time that you dedicated to make sure we were all protected, that we could go to sleep at night and feel safe. And so I just want to say thank you for that and offer my gratitude to you for doing that. So again, I thank you for coming. I welcome you here to this beautiful facility. If you feel like it at some point and you want to take a tour, please don't hesitate to call us, and I'm sure one of our students would love to take you around and show you how beautiful it is. But again, I'm sure that this experience here is going to be exciting, and we just, again, thank you for your service. Have a good day.
Students from JROTC will now present a selection of essays and poems along with a slideshow arranged by Ms. Hall.
The Stranger. One lovely summer day, as I walked through the grass, reflecting on the very fondest memories of my past, I passed an unfamiliar place and stopped a while to see, completely unsuspecting of the change this place would bring. I stood before a wall of names, 251, engraved upon a monument that pierced the shining sun. And though to all these names I was a stranger passing by, I looked upon these names, and there was one that caught my eye. It may have been a moment or an hour or a year. I walked up to the name, and I leaned in close so I could hear. I closed my eyes and listened to the pure and priceless truth, and came to understand what love of which. This wall is proof. It said that he who bears the very greatest love of all will sacrifice his life before he'll see a dear friend fall. Do people often wonder whether such a man is real? I see him now, through these engraved letters that I feel. He is sitting with his brother, telling stories as they laugh of the greatest games he'll ever pitch, or the biggest fish he'll catch. He's standing by his colors on a hillside far away. He's diving through the amber fire while others run away. I search through all my memories of the noble and the grand, the courage and the truth, and that I've been taught to understand. Of all those stories that are told, this shall be told of you, dear soldier, how you gave your life for those you never knew.
Vietnam tears. I stood and I watched as a mother cried when she had heard that her son had died. He didn't die because he was sick, or he didn't die because he was in a wreck. He died doing what he felt was right. I watched as the father tried to hold back his tears. His son had lived only a scant 19 years. His son had died 9,000 miles away, and what was there left for a father to say? He got down on his knees and said a prayer. His brave son knows his father did care. I stood and I watched as a little girl cried. She didn't understand why her brother had passed on. Why he never again played with her on the lawn. Looking at the little girl's tears, I knew that her big brother had died fighting for you and me.
There's discipline in a soldier. You can see it when he walks. There's honor in a soldier. You can hear it when he talks. There's courage in a soldier. You can see it in his eyes. There's loyalty in a soldier. You can, that he will not compromise. There's something in a soldier that makes him stand apart. There's strength in a soldier that beats from his heart. A soldier isn't any title any man can be hired to do. A soldier is the soul of that man buried deep inside of you. A soldier's job isn't finished after an 8-hour day or a 40-hour week. A soldier is always a soldier, even while he sleeps. A soldier serves his country first, and his life is left behind. A soldier has to sacrifice what comes first in a civilian's mind. If you are a civilian, I'm saying this to you. Next time you see a soldier, remember what they do. A soldier is the reason our land is the home of the free. A soldier is the one that is brave, protecting you and me. If you are a soldier, I'm saying this to you. Thank God for every soldier, and thank God for what you do.
In your honor, unselfishly you left your fathers and your mothers. You left behind your sisters and your brothers. Leaving your beloved children and wives, you put on hold your dreams, your lives. On foreign soil you found yourself planted, to fight for those whose freedom you granted. Without your sacrifice, their cause would be lost, but you carried your onward no matter the cost. Many horrors you endured and seen. Many faces you had haunted your dreams. You cheered as your enemies littered the ground. You cried as your brothers fell around. When it was over, you all came back home. Some were left with memories to face all alone. Some found themselves in the company of friends as their crosses cast shadows across the land. Those who survived were forever scarred, emotionally, physically, mentally marred. Those who did not now sleep eternally neath the ground they had given their lives to keep free. With a hand upon my heart, I feel the pride and respect. My reverence is revealed. In the tears that now stream down my upturned face. As our flag waves above you in her glory and grace, freedom was a gift you unselfishly gave. Pain and death was the price you ultimately paid. Every day I give my utmost admiration to those who fought to defend our nation.
Soldier. I saw a burial with a bugler playing tips. I turned to my father. What happened, I asked. He clutched my hand, and with a quiver in his voice, he began to explain, and his eyes became moist. My son, he said, this is rather difficult for me to say. For an old veteran like myself, this is tough to see. In this coffin lies a genuine patriotic warrior, an honest-to-God hero, and an American soldier. I appreciate that soldier and the service he gave, and I honor his sacrifice as he laid in his grave. He was honorable, selfless, and courageous and bold. Please remember him, son, as I grow old. The value of his service, I must explain, is, if not remembered, will be lost in vain. As a nation, we're nothing without soldiers like him, and failing to remember would be a terrible sin. I listened in awe as my father spoke. It seemed as if his heart were broke. I suddenly remembered when he went to war, and when he returned, I thought nothing more. I never asked why he walked with a limp, and I didn't wonder why he was sick. I was too busy enjoying life that I had, and too busy to realize I had it because of Dad. I finally understood what my dad was about, and it hurt so bad I cried out loud. He sacrificed so much so I could be free, and he suffered scars for me. It was my father's spirit that spoke to me that day. Thank God I finally understood what he had to say. I saluted his coffin as they laid him to rest, and I thought about the medals pinned on his chest. That
I did not honor him sooner, I will always regret, and I pledged that day to never forget. I'm proud that my dad was a patriotic warrior. I'm honored to be the son of an American soldier.
Freedom isn't free. I watched the flag pass by one day and fluttered in the breeze. A young Marine saluted it, and then he stood at ease. I looked at him in uniform, so young, so tall, so proud, with hair cut square and eyes alert. He'd stand out in any crowd. I thought how many men like him had fallen throughout the years, how many died on foreign soil, how many mothers' tears. How many pilots shot down? How many died at sea? How many foxholes were soldiers' graves? No, freedom isn't free. I heard sounds of taps one night when everything was still. I listened to the bugler play and felt a sudden chill. I wondered how many times the tap meant amen when a flag draped a coffin of a brother or a friend. I thought of all the children, of the mothers and the wives, of fathers and sons and husbands with interrupted lives. I thought about the graveyard at the bottom of the sea, or an unmarked grave at Arlington. No, freedom isn't free.
The JROTC Honor Guard, commanded by Cadet Captain Adrian Ramos, will now present the Prisoner of War Missing in Action ceremony.
Honor Guard, attention! Take close interval, press, pike, press. Ready, press. Press, pace.
Ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, the Lorain High School Army Junior Reserves Officer Training Corps Honor Guard, under the command of Cadet Captain Adrian Ramos, will now present the Prisoner of War Missing in Action ceremony. The other members of the Honor Guard are Cadet Private First Class Matthew Gannon, Cadet Private First Class Cheyenne Sowards, Cadet Private First Class Sarah Hopkins, Cadet First Sergeant Daniel Seaman, and I'm Captain Sam Norwalk. It is an honor and privilege to introduce and acknowledge this table. This table represents and pays tribute to all of the prisoners of war, missing in action, and killed in action from American involvement in World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Grenada, the Persian Gulf Desert Storm, Operation Iraqi Freedom, Enduring Freedom of Afghanistan, and more. Many of you have looked at this table and wondered. Let me explain. This table, set for 5, symbolizes the frailty of the prisoners against their oppressors. Remember, the tablecloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their country calls to arms. Remember, the single candle displayed in the center of the table, symbolic of the families and loved ones who kept the faith, waiting for the return of those oh so dear to them. Remember, the yellow ribbon tied so prominently on the candle symbolizes our continued uncertainty and hope for their return, determined to account for them, countless bear witness, and demand a proper accounting for our missing. Remember, the lemon on their breastplate reminds us of their bitter fate. Remember, there is salt on the bread, symbolic of the tears of the families as they still wait for their loved ones to return. Remember, the glasses are inverted. They cannot toast with us tonight. Remember, the chairs are empty. They are not here. Remember, all of you who served with them and called them brothers and sisters, who depended upon their might and aid and relied upon them. Remember them, for surely they have not forgotten you.
story must be told of valor and bold. So let them write it down in history. A young soldier cries for his comrades who died, fighting for a cause that they believe. But nobody's seen or heard a sound. There was no parade for them downtown. We found the last patrol, standing by the wall of fallen heroes. We tell their mothers that their sons are marching in the sky. Tell them that they're soldiers of the cloud. Please tell them so they know. Tell them that they're soldiers of the cloud. The wounds will never heal, and the feelings that they feel left a scar for all the world to see. But the eagle always flies for the men who fought and died, and it flies for all eternity. But nobody's seen or heard a sound. There was no parade for them downtown. We found the last patrol, standing by the wall of fallen heroes. We tell their fathers that their sons are marching in the sky. Tell them that they're soldiers of the cloud. Please tell them so they know. Tell them that they're soldiers of the cloud, standing by the wall of fallen heroes. Tell their parents that their sons are marching in the sky. Tell them that they're soldiers of the cloud. Please tell them so they know. Tell them that they're soldiers of the cloud.
Ready, cut! Right, hey! Forward, march!
Good morning, veterans, families, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Cadet Captain Sam Norwalk, and on behalf of our Superintendent, Dr. Jeffrey Graham, our Principal, Mrs. Robin Hopkins, Lorain High School Junior ROTC Honor Guard, under the direction of Lieutenant Colonel Dennis Owen and Sergeant First Class Chrissy Proy, we are honored to be here at this special event. To our veterans in attendance, thank you for your service and sacrifice to our nation's defense and freedom. This Friday, November 11th, is Veterans Day, a day and time for us to pause and reflect on the contributions our veterans have made in the honor of fallen comrades and all of those who gave the ultimate sacrifice in defense of our country and freedom. American revolutionary Thomas Paine wrote in his pamphlet, Common Sense, "It is not in numbers, but in unity that our great strength lies." Those words are as true today as they were in 1776. The unity that is America springs from one cause: freedom. Generation after generation of Americans have stepped forward to defend our freedom, preserve the founding principles of this great nation. From Valley Forge to Vietnam, from Kuwait to Kandahar, from Berlin to Baghdad, these patriots have stood watch over America's peace and, when necessary, have borne the cost of our nation's wars. There are more than 24 million living veterans that are among our nation's finest citizens. They served our country and continue to serve our communities. Through our presentation, we honor all the veterans for their solemn pledge to defend our freedom. We pledge to uphold the legacy by teaching younger generations about their role in securing the blessing of liberty and about how the veterans' courage and sacrifice has shaped our nation's history. In addition, we would like to thank the United States Armed Forces and their families for their dedication, sacrifice, and service to our country. Let us remember those deployed on foreign soil, in harm's way, standing on watch on point for us around the world. Please pray for our servicemen and women for a safe return home and continue to support them in the global war on terrorism and protecting our nation's freedom. God bless America, and let us never forget.
Shortly, we will observe a moment of silence, followed by the playing of taps. Although taps originally played as a bugle call at the end of each day, it is now customarily played at burials and memorial services to accompany the lowering of the flag and to signify the end of one's life given in the sacrifice of their country. Upon completion of taps, I ask that all students quietly and reverently follow the instruction of your teachers in returning back to your classes. Thank you for attending our Veterans Day Assembly, and thank you for your service. Please stand to your feet.
This has been a production of Lorain City Schools TV 20 WLCS.